How are things going for the Minnesota North Stars? Even though they lost the other night to end a winning streak, they got a standing O for the effort. Tonight, they'll dive back into the Norris division. Good evening from St. Louis Arena. Tonight, the North Stars meet the St. Louis Blues.
Brian Hayward in the nets for the North Stars, player of the week last week in the NHL. He's got over 80 minutes of shutout time going for him. In the nets for St. Louis tonight, Vincent Riando, who's playing his 5th straight game, and he's been hot of late for the St. Louis Blues. Referees tonight, referee Don Koharski, linesman Dan Shakti, and Dan McCourt.
I'd like to say hello to Don Koharski's dad, Big Nick, who's watching in Nova Scotia on the satellite tonight. And Nick, Don wants us to say to you that he'll see you at the airport in Toronto on Sunday. Now we got that business out of the way.
Well, Doug, I just wanted to mention the fact as we look at Brian Sutter, coach of the St. Louis Blues, that Bob Gainey, you alluded to him being back behind the North Star bench tonight. It is his birthday today. He's 37 years old, and a happy one for him because Kathy Gainey came home from the hospital yesterday.
That's great.
Lovely lady. We all wish her well.
So we're ready to go with the Stars and the Blues. Neil Broughton starting with Bellows and Smale. Kurt Giles and Rob Zettler on defense. And it's played to neutral ice. There's Jeff Brown for the St. Louis Blues. And the puck in the Stars zone, and a crazy little jink off the boards is played by Giles. Hull centers, but there's Doug Smale. Stars come out. Bellows from beyond the line. Lively inboards at the St. Louis Arena. Dahlquist will crank it back in, and the Blues will pick it up. Half a minute into the first period in the arena. 4th meeting of 8 in the season so far. The Blues have won 2, and there was one tie earlier on. Madonna's puck is deflected by Hull. Lowry plays it for Stevens, and Scott Stevens, the Blues captain, triggers it away. Now Paul Cavallini, popped back in by Prop. There's Stevens to neutral. Brett Hull on his knees, got a little back pass try for Courtnall that didn't go, and it was jabbed out of the zone by Jim Johnson. Stars' 2 newest acquisitions, Dahlquist and Johnson. Dahlquist wearing 34 tonight, and there's his first shot of the game. And Jim Johnson wearing number 8. Right at the line, caught by Madonna and just onside. And the Stars need to complete a change.
One thing tonight, the North Stars have got 7 defensemen dressed. Pat McLeod called up because Shane Churla got hurt in practice yesterday. He'll be out for a little while with a separated shoulder. So the Stars will probably double shift Madonna, going with 1 less forward tonight.
Right in front of the net it goes. Not tapped in, not playable. Courtnall there, a jab by Sutter, blocked by Bellows. Courtnall tried to play it, but Gagne's there. The Stars come out 3-on-2. Ulf DeLeon over the line. Gagne the circle, right to the slot, and off the side of the net. DeLeon up high. Brian Glenn retrieves. Off the boards now for Neil Wilkinson shooting. Bellows in front, a jab by DeLeon. A penalty is coming on St. Louis. Here's a shot by DeLeon, save. Bellows is there, cranked by Sutter at the whistle. Dirk in on Bellows, and it'll be a North Stars power play when we come back 2:01 into a scoreless first period.
Well, the fans you just missed Rich Sutter showing Don Koharski what he did. He's saying he didn't cross-check in front of the net. He's going to get a penalty for cross-checking. The North Stars going to power play. And Rich Sutter, who cross-checked Bellows down, will serve the first penalty of the evening. Bellows, after that, couldn't find the puck in his skates. Ulf Dahlin had come around with a backhand shot. The save was made, and the puck was lined between Bellows' skates. He couldn't find it. St. Louis cleared the puck, and the whistle was blown. North Stars on the power play.
12th power play in the NHL for Minnesota, the 3rd best penalty kill for the St. Louis Blues, who've not given up a power play in some time.
And there's number 32 with the puck. That's Pat McLeod, who's a power play specialist, brought up from Kalamazoo in place of the injured Shane Churla to give the North Stars 7 defensemen tonight.
No relation, but you gotta like that kid. I'd have worn my McLeod plaid tie if I'd have known. Here's McLeod, now for Glenn, into the corner. DeLeon, checked by Marois. DeLeon, Sinisalo, and Bobby Smith, the front line on the power play. This look with Glenn and McLeod on the point. Here's DeLeon, popped by Marois. Bobby Smith on the puck, 1:21 on the power play. Marois behind the net. Sinisalo pulls that one away. Tried to peel it off the bottom of the board. Glynn from the point of drive. It hit Bobby Smith. Sinisalo shoots it. Just missed the post. Played out of the right corner by Ron Wilson. 106 in the North Star man advantage. Smith with DeLeon behind the net. Floats it instead to Glynn. Back for Bobby Smith. Here's McLeod shooting, and it just deflected off Scott Stevens right in front of the net with DeLeon camped right behind him. 51 on the power play for Minnesota. Glynn for McLeod into the slot. Backhand Sinisalo save. Popping by DeLeon, and it's in. They score a power play goal for the North Stars. It was just at the goal line, and you saw Riendo madly trying to sweep it out with his glove. But it's in, and the North Stars take the lead 1-0.
Well, Sinisalo, or Ilka Sinisalo, right in front of the net, is going to get a stick on it. Watch, here's DeLeon fighting to get it loose now. Sinisalo 25, watch him come around. Look at that. He just poke checks the puck into the net. DeLeon fighting in front, and Ilka Sinisalo with a long reach, poking that puck past Riendo, had already gone down, giving the North Stars a 1-0 lead after a fine play by McLeod, who passed the puck into the slot area to DeLeon to set up the initial shot.
Ilka Sinisalo gets his third of the year at 3:16 of the first period. It's a power play goal, and the North Stars lead by a score of 1-0. Now 16:30 to go in the first period, and Paul Cavallini will bring it in. DeLeon and McLeod picking up the assists on the goal by Sinisalo. Now Paul Cavallini for the St. Louis Blues to neutral for Brind'Amour. They backhand it in, and Tuttle will chase it down the right wing. Hayward flings it clear. Loose puck. Brind'Amour there. A drive by Paul Cavallini, and a backhand sailed over the net off the stick of Sergio Momesso. Into the corner they go. Momesso digging. Trying to pull it away from Smale. Smale dragging it free, kicking it free. Brind'Amour on it, puck free. Here's Giles. Whoops, right to Brind'Amour. And a blind pass left is picked off by Modano, and the Stars come back 3-on-2. Modano had it poked away by Paul Cavallini, and Brind'Amour will clear the zone for St. Louis. Blues changing, and Featherstone will pop it in.
A good effort by Modano. He almost had defenseman Dirk beat there. The puck just hit his skate. Otherwise, it would have been a 3-on-1 going in. He made a good move, slid the puck through, but it just caught the corner of the skate.
Puck wanders to neutral, golfed in by Duchesne, and retrieved there by the Blues. Here's Jeff Brown. The angle to neutral on the skate of Gino Cavallini. Couldn't play it. And there's new acquisition Chris Dahlquist. Cranked back in by Brown, and Hayward leaves it away for Jim Johnson. On Karam into the Blues zone, and Riendo, starting his 5th straight game, floats it away. As Berezan hit the side of the net, he and Riendo collided, and Riendo went down. Now the puck's at neutral, and here comes Brian Glynn, shooting right on in the save up the slot, picked out by Featherstone and away for Brett Hull. 2-on-2, Hull and Gino Cavallini. Here's Cavallini shooting off the side of the net. Hull through the lip of the goal crease. Hold out by Dave Gagne, and the Stars clear their zone, but right on the stick of Scott Stevens. Here's Hull with a ripping shot to the corner. He can slap it, he can wrist it, he can backhand it. They all sizzle when Brett Hull pulls the trigger. Marois back at neutral ice. Look at it zing around those end boards. Bellows in pursuit. Jeff Courtnall in front of him. Hull swings it free. Smacked by Glynn. Now Bassett, former Chicago Blackhawk, who's really been an asset to this Blues club. Ulf DeLeon is at neutral for Minnesota. A deke on Stevens. DeLeon goes deep, and Stevens is there. DeLeon and Stevens locked up, but here's Modano shooting right on save. Bellows to the rebound, was just popped by Marois, and the net is knocked off the standard with 13:33 to go in the first period. A power play goal by Ilka Sinisalo gives the North Stars a 1-0 lead.
Watch Brian Bellows go to the net as Gagne takes the shot from the far boards, and Bellows going to the net almost is able to control that puck and get it past Riendo, knocking the net off its moorings and getting the face-off. One thing thus far, Doug, the North Stars here have been able to quiet the St. Louis Blues fans. We've got over 17,000 people in here, but the North Stars shutting down the attempts by St. Louis, not giving them anything to cheer about, really have kept the crowd out of the game thus far.
13:33 to go in the first period. It is 1-0 Minnesota. And a first goal in this building is so important. And the Stars lately have been playing with a lead so much better. Now back out come the Blues. It's Courtnall firing behind the net. Sutter is checked out of it by Zettler. To the point for Marois. Here's Jeff Courtnall behind the Minnesota net. Bob Basson on his knees. Courtnall will pick it up. Giles right there popping Courtnall. Kowarski, the referee, trying to get out of the way. Zettler checking Basson. Basson dumped it back and flipped away from Sutter. Ryan Propp for Minnesota. Out of the zone, and the Blues Featherstone will have to chase.
One thing with the North Stars not having Basil McRae and Shane Churl out here tonight, they're missing some of their physicalness.
Lowry fires the save by Hayward, and it's Mike Modano to swing it free. Sinisalo and Propp come back, and the Stars will complete a change. You've really seen a change in the two-way abilities of Mike Modano this year.
Well, and one thing, when he's playing defensive as well as he is, he really creates problems for the opposition, because now they got to put a defensive player against him so that he doesn't get too many opportunities as well. So he's really completing his game by playing strong in his own end and really going with the puck when he gets the opportunity.
You know, there's a guy that was brought in and everybody thought, well, this guy is going to be a pure goal scorer. He's going to be a point maker. But this year, he has really expanded the quality of his game.
And that fellow right there, Brian Hayward, just makes a big save. Lowry takes the shot, and the puck's right in front. And on the doorstep's Ronnie Wilson, but Mike Modano comes back to help out, as you were pointing out, Doug. And he's doing that. He's coming back to help out down deep. And tonight, the centermen have got to do that, because a big force of this Minnesota hockey team is Mark Tenorti, and he's out. His wife had a miscarriage yesterday. He wasn't able to make the trip. And Mark Tenorti's really coming into his own as a hockey player. Not only a commanding defensive defenseman, he's carrying the puck with confidence, and he also is sorely missed out of this lineup here tonight.
And he's a scoring machine here lately. Big 24 Mark Tenorti. He got robbed by Vernon of a good one the other night against Calgary. 12-11 to go in the first. It is 1-0 the North Stars. Sean Chambers out about 8 weeks now after knee surgery, joining the North Stars list of walking wounded. The Blues have several players on the injured list too. Bellows backhand shot right on it, flipped away by Riendo. Here's Broughton now in the corner, poked by Smale. Broughton checked by Wilson, smacked by Stevens. Here's Doug Smale through a crowd. Riendo behind the net for Stevens. Brett Hull skies it to neutral and batted down and played by Dave Tomlinson. Smashed by Bellows. The puck is in the North Star zone. Wilson hanging on to Pat McLeod. Bellows got smacked in his turn by Tomlinson. They're really working on each other over there. And Kowarski, the referee, right there. Smale nearly had it free in the slot. Now Smale pulls it loose again. They shoot and they score. Broughton right on the lip of the goal crease. But Doug Smale really made that play. Broughton pops it in, and it's 2-0 Minnesota.
Well, the forechecking ability of Smale and Broughton really was effective there, with Smale coming up with that puck and making a great cross-ice pass to Broughton right in front, down deep. Here you see Smale getting the puck from Dirk, and a fine pass to Broughton, who doesn't stop it, just changes the direction of the puck, puts it by the goaltender. Great two-way play by those fellas. First making the check, then getting the puck, and a fine pass by Smale to Broughton. But I want to tell you, that play started all the way back in the blue line. Brian Bellows initially hit Tomlinson with as hard a check as I've seen Brian Bellows throw, knocked him down, so when the puck came in the zone, Tomlinson took a stupid run at Bellows. Bellows fought him off, got the puck out of the zone, and that's it. From there, the North Stars were able to take it down deep and steal the puck and get the goal.
The puck coming out to neutral ice. Marois swings it back in now for the Blues. 2-0 Minnesota. Just under 11 minutes to go in the first. The Blues really cranking up the body checks. Featherstone unloads, and it actually hit his own man, Brindamore, and deflected into the crowd. The North Stars lead the Blues 2-0 in St. Louis.
Here's the check we were talking about. Brian Bellows laying a heavy check on Tomlinson right here. Watch his shoulder check. I want to tell you, Tomlinson felt that. Afterwards, the Blues get a little frustrated down in front of the net. Momesso takes a swing at Zettler. He's going off for roughing. The North Stars on the power play again, being successful on the first power play of the evening earlier when they got the 1-0 lead. And Momesso with a dumb, foolish penalty, giving the North Stars an opportunity to extend their lead to 2 with 10:49 to go here in the first period.
You wish you could assign an honorary point sometimes on a goal, and Bellows would get one there. It's a single assist goal, and Neil Broughton Smale gets the only other point at 8:46 of the first. Momesso roughing at 9:11. Power play 2 for the North Stars, who are 1 for 1. Mike Modano. Gagne. Now Bellows shooting to save Riendo. Prop swings it free. Bellows jabs it behind the net. Gagne there for Minnesota with 1:35 on the man advantage. One-time blast by Modano. Broughton running in from the point after it, but it pops free. And now the Blues' Dave Lowry tries to break, and it's Mike Modano who pops it with the North Stars blue line. Broughton starts it back for Minnesota. Prop for Bellows. 1:17 on the power play. The Blues' Dave Lowry brings it in. Now Basson shorthanded in the corner. Fencing with Modano. Here's Bob Basson just playing keep away at the moment. Broughton hits him and Modano pulls it away. Now the Stars come out on their power play, which is halfway through. 2-0 Minnesota the score, and Modano dumps it in. Stars will change their power play quintet as the Blues will zing it back down into the Minnesota zone. Now it's Glenn and McLeod with Smith, DeLeon, and Sinisalo. That's the quintet that connected on the first power play for the Stars here tonight. The first goal of the game. Bobby Smith at the line lost the puck, and now Pat McLeod will pick it up. He was checked by Wilson as he turned. Smith for Brian Glenn. Half a minute in the North Star power play remains, and Featherstone cranks it all the way down.
St. Louis just lining up across the blue line. The North Stars are going to have to get it deep and get the loose puck around the boards, because the Blues are stacked up 4 across that blue line, not allowing the North Stars to come into the zone.
Bobby Smith, 12 on the power play for Minnesota. The puck turned back by Mario Marois, and now Brian Glenn with 6 seconds remaining in the North Star man advantage. Sinisalo over the line. Past Marois. Bobby Smith goes to the end, but Scott Stevens there first. That's the end of the power play. Blues are at full strength, and Scott Stevens gets it out to neutral. Possible 3-on-2 as Gino Cavallini lets it go, blocked by Zettler, and cleared out of the zone by Sinisalo. Stevens and Brown go after the puck. Here's Scott Stevens. Now for Jeff Brown. 8.5 to go in the first period. 2-0 Minnesota. Ronning slides it high to the line. Stevens offside with 8 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the first period. Now the score, the North Stars 2 and the Blues nothing. Television has purchased the broadcast rights of the North Stars games solely for the entertainment of our audience. No broadcast, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this copyrighted telecast are permitted without written authority of the North Stars and Channel 9.
Look at those shots. North Stars out shooting the Blues 9-3. As we were saying earlier, effectively cutting down the Blues, so they haven't had any chances keeping the crowd, and a large one it is right out of the game. 2 goals for the North Stars and nothing for the Blues with 8:15 to go in the first period with Lou Nanne, Doug McLeod at St. Louis Arena. And here's Chris Dahlquist. Oh, he looked like he lost his balance as he turned and smacked the boards, and Dahlquist is hurt. I think he might have hurt his knee the way he went in. He got just checked moments before he was making his turn, and when sliding into the boards right now, it looks like he's favoring his knee a little bit.
Oh, brother.
I hope it's his wind just getting knocked out of him, but I'm not certain.
He clearly hit it with his knee as he came in. Dahlquist being tended to down on the ice with 8:05 to go in the first. North Stars leading the Blues 2-0, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Dahlquist leaving the ice under his own power, probably just bruises his right knee the way he's taken out here by Ronnie. You see him just lose his balance. Whenever you're checking a fella and you just put that stick behind his back or behind his leg, give him a shove. That's all it takes to put him off balance when he's making a turn. That's what happened there.
Boy, I'll tell you, it's good they had 7 defensemen too, because there goes one sitting and hurting. Fans, our next telecast of Stars hockey on Midwest Sports Channel will be this Sunday afternoon. It'll be the second end of a home-and-home day series against the Chicago Blackhawks. Sure hope to see you at Met Center on Saturday afternoon when the Hawks will be in. That's always a great game. The Hawks, of course, leading the division. Then we'll be in Chicago Sunday at 1:30 on Midwest Sports Channel for the Stars and the Hawks. 2-0 Minnesota, the score with 8:05 to go in the first period. Nobody on it. Hall blasts it. And Berezan retrieves it. Here's Stevens. I'll tell you, Stevens' good idea for trying to eliminate goals that some teams think are scored and the referee waves them off. That's happened several times to the Blues. It happened again the other day on Brett Hull in a 3-3 tie against Winnipeg. Blues were joking about great ideas, you know, put a computer chip in the puck and sensors in the goal pipes. Stevens' idea was a disintegrating puck that would explode as soon as it went into the net. There's a good idea. The exploding hockey puck.
The way Brett Hull shoots him, sometimes you think they're going to explode.
He would never get there. That'd be another good idea. It'd blow up as soon as he hit it. He'd never score. I like that idea more and more. Here's Stevens. Checked by Smith. Berezan lifts it free. 7:07 to go in the first. 2-0 Minnesota. Brett Hull floating over the line off the skates of Duchesne. Paul Cavallini, a poke by Duchesne. Now down in the corner is Cliff Ronning on the deck. Penalty coming up on Minnesota. Delayed penalty on the Stars. Right in front of backhand shot saved by Hayward. And now the whistle will blow, and it'll be a Blues power play with 6:49 to go in the first, and the Stars in the saddle 2-0.
Con Duchesne hooks Brindamore down right here, and the North Stars are going to be at a man disadvantage as Duchesne gets a hooking penalty. St. Louis on their first power play of the evening, trailing 2-0, 6:49 to go in the first.
One of the few aspects of the Blues game that has not really been very solid here in the early part of the season has been the power play. It's only about 16%. Still off to the fastest start in franchise history. A drive is blocked off tunnels. Shot. He was just recalled from the Peoria Rivermen today. It's Peoria's number 4 scorer. Smale lifts it away. Rotten and Smale. Now on come Dahlquist and Johnson for Minnesota. Killing the penalty, which has a minute 30 seconds to go. Paul Cavallini angles it away to neutral, and the Blues come down. That's broken up, though, by the Stars' Jim Johnson. Brindamore in the corner, pestered by Smale. Brindamore still on the puck. Here's Hull. Brett Hull on the power play. His angle pass for the breaking Paul Cavallini was broken up by Smale on a good play and cleared all the way down.
Certainly was a good play. Smale stayed in his position. Cavallini tried to come in behind, and Smale just wisely moved right in front of that pass and intercepted it. Perfect position by Dougie Smale.
And Jim Johnson in the collision on the far side, and now the Stars clear it all the way down with 49 seconds left in the St. Louis man advantage.
Jimmy Johnson hits a little like Freddie Barrett, straight up. He's got good sense of timing, and when he is able to connect with a fella, he can knock him right over because he knows where to hit. It's right in the center of the chest, and you get him with that force, hitting straight up like that, knocks him right off their feet.
33 seconds remaining in the Blues power play. Here's Featherstone. Stars now using Sinisalo, Prop, Giles, and Zettler on the kill. Just tipped by Hayward, who has not given up a power play goal in a long time. Behind the net now for the Blues is Cliff Ronning. Up high for Marois. Now Featherstone. 8 seconds of the power play. Loose in front. Home with a backhand. Missed the mark. Ronning floats it in, and Zettler whacks it to the corner. That's the end of the power play. Now the North Stars are at full strength. Oh, and that looked like a gimme for a moment as Hull slid it in front of the net, and then Ronning couldn't get it in.
Good save initially by Hayward before the puck came across to Ronning, and Zettler with good position didn't panic, just stood in his ground, and when Ronning tried to center it in front of the net or put it into the open side, Zettler just got a stick on it and cleared it.
Stars again are at full strength with 4:23 to go in the first. Minnesota 2 and St. Louis nothing. Now Brian Bellows at the line. Right for Gagne, shooting a save by Riendo, and Hull will play it away. Brett Hull for the Blues, pulling from Gagne, but he got bushwhacked by DeLeon, and the puck is fired back in again.
We're seeing Bellows play on 2 lines now because of the short of of one forward, as we were seeing 7 defensemen out here tonight, and occasionally you'll see Modano there as well.
Here's the try and a tap by Sutter as Hayward put the brakes on that one. And now McLeod and Basson square off. And Koharski has a word with Brian Glynn. And nothing more will come of that.
Brian Glynn wanted to make certain that he wasn't going to get a penalty there, so he just got out of that in a hurry and went right over to Koharski. Here's a good chance by Minnesota. Watch Deline in front. He got his stick on that shot, deflected it, but Riendo made the save. And Hull had a chance before that. As you see the shot coming from the point, Brett Hull's off to the side of the net. He comes around Ronning here, but look at Hayward standing in his position, makes a save, then Ronning beside the net just has that puck knocked away by Zettler. And that was the end of the power play. And as you were seeing earlier, Brian Hayward now is about 143 minutes, when you don't count power or full-strength goals, as going on a scoreless streak. Brian Hayward playing very solidly in the nets for the North Stars since he was acquired from the Montreal Canadiens for Jason Moore.
Came in the game with almost 82 minutes of shutout and 104, almost 146 of not letting in an even strength goal. Now 3:37 to go in the first. It is 2-0 Minnesota. Sergio Momesso fencing with Smale. Modano in there to flip it free. Back and forth at the line. Offside. Yes, as Broughton was checked right at the whistle by Momesso. I was talking about that home series this weekend against Chicago. The division-leading Hawks will be at Met Center on Saturday afternoon at 1:30. And the fans going to that game, there's a great chance to help some very worthy young people and also maybe win a prize for yourself. Bring an unwrapped new toy to the game as part of the Marine Corps Reserve Toys for Tots Drive. Everybody donating a toy will be eligible for a special prize drawing. So by all means, when you're on your way to Met Center, bring a new unwrapped toy to the game. Toys for Tots will appreciate it, and you might win a prize yourself.
Grand prize in the Star Stakes sweepstakes, $53,700. So there's a lot of money available to be won on Saturday with the one prize alone, $53,700, and 33 other cash prizes for another $10,000.
And you know, I'd go just to see the Stars and the Blackhawks.
Oh, we've already got our largest advance of the year. We're expecting a fine crowd. We want to show the people of Minnesota and the people around the states that Minnesota is a great hockey area.
Now with the puck at neutral, here's Mike Modano for the Stars, blasting one right onto Riendo. Behind the net, Smale, and it sailed away from him. Dave Tomlinson is there, trying to break one for Dave Lowry. Lowry and Glynn had to leap over Hayward, and the shot just missed the mark. Holy smokes! Smale angles it back through neutral. Oh man, we knew this was going to be an entertaining hockey game, but it has been a dandy. Dave Lowry now at neutral, at least in terms of some wild and woolly things going on. It's been a dandy. 2:27 left in the first now. 2-0 Stars.
On that line combination, you saw Modano playing on the wing with Smale and Broughton. That line accounted for 3 goals against Calgary late in the game. Here's a chance that St. Louis had Lowry getting checked by Glynn at the last second as Hayward came out to knock the puck away. And then with no one in the net, the puck shot from the far boards goes right past Lowry. Watch number 10, Lowry go in front of the net. Puck's coming across, no goalie, but it's too high for him to control and goes right past him.
It was a great play with that from behind sweep check by Glynn to knock the puck away. So as you say, by the time those two got there, the only danger was whether anybody was going to decapitate Hayward. Now the puck into the Minnesota zone until that shot came in from the left wing. Stars come out, bounding puck played by Bobby Smith. Duchesne going after it, played along the left wing boards in the Blues zone, and the Blues, well, there'll be no icing here as it sails to the North Star end.
The Blues trying to keep Brett Hull away from this checking line of the North Stars, and especially from Gaetan Duchesne, have come back out here with Sutter so that they can get Brett Hull free away from the checkers.
Harrison went down, took a whack at Sutter for his trouble. At neutral ice, here's Jeff Courtnall for the Blues. There was a collision behind the play as Featherstone and Smale got into it, and now with minute 43 to go in the first period, we'll haul it back. It's 2-0 Minnesota, a power play goal by Sinisalo at 3:16, and a full-strength goal by Broughton, well set by Smale at 8:46.
Harry Berezan back in the lineup tonight. As you see right here, he's trying to sidestep the check, doesn't get all the way around and gets caught with a piece of the Blues defenseman leg and goes down. But Berzan in the lineup tonight. Warren Babe and Larry DePalma sent back to Kansas City, or to Kalamazoo. And Berzan taking one of those forward positions. And McLeod coming up after Shane Churla got hurt in practice yesterday with a slight shoulder separation.
The Blues are still missing Rick Mahar, who had knee surgery back in April, and Adam Oates, who skated in the pregame tonight but is not playing. He has torn abdominal muscles. Harold Sneps, the former North Star, is out tonight as well. He got a hip pointer the other day, so he thought he might be ready to play tonight, but obviously was not.
Well, they spot him somewhat anyway. They don't play him all the time.
Brock to the point for Giles. He'll dump it deep with 1:17 left in the first period. In the intermission, Louis will be visiting with the new North Stars acquisitions, Jim Johnson and Chris Dahlquist. We'll try to get a report on how Dahlquist is doing. Here's Sinisalo in front, but no. And we'll have a sports break with Jim Gilliland. Now in the corner, Paul Cavallini was locked up with Zettler. Last minute of play in the first period. Cliff Ronning. Spadano without the helmet, and the puck is at neutral. Giles waits till everybody's out of the zone and dumps it in, and everybody goes off. Stars with a change as the Blues come out. Here's Hull. A little drop shift over the line. Shoots one. Deflected by Hayward. Hull centering again from the corner. No. Stevens one times it. Deflected. Ronning there. Shoot. Oh, big save by Hayward. Oh, Ronning was right at the hash marks. And Brian Hayward came up with a big save with 34 seconds to go in the first period.
Great save by Hayward and some help from Dahlquist. Dahlquist coming across, might have got his stick on it to slow that shot down. You see in front of the net, number 34, Dahlquist right there, came across his stick, just got a piece of Ronning's shot. The puck does go in the air, but Hayward makes a good move, coming across, maintaining his balance so that he's in position to block that shot before he falls on it and makes certain there was no rebound. A good play by Brian Hayward and a lot of help from Chris Dahlquist, with the Stars leading 2-0 with 34 seconds to go in the first period.
From that camera angle, which is at the other end of the ice, it looked there like the puck was in danger of sailing up and over Hayward. It was not. That was just the angle you saw. It was actually dipping by the time it got to Hayward, and then it hit. Now from the draw, here's Dahlquist. I don't know how he feels, but he's skating. Puck comes out to neutral and back in. 24 seconds to the first intermission. 2-0 North Stars lead. And the Blues, Jeff Brown lays it away for Stevens. Tuttle. 13 seconds of the period. Tuttle ground along the boards by Smale. Bellows chasing the puck. Stevens will get there. And back in the Blues zone as time expires in the period. Tuttle will just carry it up the boards. So the first period comes to an end as the Stars and the Blues went at it, and the North Stars got a power play goal in the early going and an even strength goal later on. Reminder fans to call Domino's Pizza now, and sometime in the second period you'll be enjoying the great taste of your own Domino's in your own home. Just think of all the great combinations you could have. I mean, you could be a plain sort of a guy like me and just put a little sausage and maybe onions and green peppers and extra cheese and olives and stuff, or you could get something real fancy. Whatever, call your neighborhood Domino's now and you'll be enjoying the great taste of a Domino's Pizza in the second period tonight. At the end of the first period, as we check the Phoenix scoreboard, the score is the Minnesota North Stars 2 and the St. Louis Blues 0.
2-1. Second period, Pittsburgh ahead of Jersey 5-4, and in the first, Winnipeg in Chicago leading 1-0. Later tonight, Calgary to LA.
Did you catch all of those? We'll check you later, see if you got them all. Well, here we go with the second period. North Stars leading 2-0. Bobby Smith leads them over the line, but it's wheeled away from Jeff Brown. Now back in the Blues zone. And St. Louis will come out. Jeff Brown angling to Stevens. Back for Brown. And out to neutral, but very slowly. And Gaetan Duchesne floats it in. Just underway with the second period. 2-0 North Stars. Ilka Sinisalo on a power play goal at 3:16 of the first. Neil Broughton at 8:46 of the first. Set up by Smale. DeLeon and McLeod. Pat McLeod just called up from Kalamazoo on the assists on Sinisalo's power play marker. With Lou Nanne, Doug McLeod at St. Louis Arena as Dave Gagne comes over the line. Gagne shoots right on, and the save by Vince Riendeau. Gagne now in the left circle off the skate of the Blues' Ron Wilson. Lowry swings it to neutral ice. A fluttering puck poked by the Stars' Jim Johnson, just in from Pittsburgh. And the deal that brought Johnson and Chris Dahlquist in for Larry Murphy and Peter Taglianetti. Brett Hull blasts one, and that's goodbye. We've seen that break some glass from time to time. Instead, it skips up into the crowd.
We saw Chris Dahlquist on that shift lay 2 real good checks. Hit upright, took the puck away, made the play. Good position by Dahlquist coming over, as he said, this week in that deal. The North Stars in that first period forechecked very aggressively, very quickly, kept St. Louis off balance. That's the thing where they've really improved in their game. They're not allowing St. Louis to come out of their zone unmolested. They're really taking away the game from St. Louis's goal line all the way up to the red line. They're quick, they're on the puck fast, they're making certain they're getting to loose pucks, and they're certainly keeping St. Louis off balance. The one thing that isn't consistent for St. Louis, Brett Hull got 3 shots on net. He's averaging 5 a game in the league, and that's what goal scorers do. They get shots on the net.
Brind'Amour charging through. A good play by Glenn, kept Tuttle right out of the play. That was Tuttle who was camped down in front of Hayward. This will be an offside whistle by Dan McCourt, but it was Glenn who threw a little check into Tuttle and tumbled him down right in front of Hayward.
Well, you see the face-off, and as Hull's breaking over towards the side, Glenn just takes him right out, takes him down, and the puck goes free. But one fella back there tonight, number 5, Wilkinson, is probably the most physical presence the North Stars have got. When we talk about physical players, Basil and Tenorti and Shane Churla definitely lead the pack, but they're all out. And really, the physical rivalry between these two teams has waned a little as far as meanness goes. They still play hard, they take the body, but when you take 3 fellas like that out on the North Star team, and St. Louis really only has Momesso up front that you look to do that kind of stuff, it sets the tone for a quick, fast game, and that's what the North Stars are doing tonight, using their speed up front to keep St. Louis off balance thus far.
Featherstone couldn't keep it in at the point for the Blues. Brind'Amour, but it's swept away by Sinicello and into the St. Louis zone. Vince Riendeau came in the game with a 10-4-3 record and one of the best goals against in the league. Takes a shot off Modano. Glenn fires. That hit the back of Marois' skates. A loose puck, and Featherstone will pick it up. Here's Steve Tuttle to dump it in. Hayward behind the net for Minnesota. Now Modano on the rolling puck. Angles it out for Ilka Sinicello. Sinicello driving on Featherstone. And will sweep it on the end boards where Paul Cavallini will retrieve for the Blues. 2.5 gone in the second period. North Stars 2 and the Blues nothing. Cavallini launches through neutral, and that skitters all the way on to Hayward. Sutter was breaking in, but Zettler had him all taken care of. Neil Broughton kicks it out high. Now here is Bellows. A board pass for Smale turned the other way. Bellows retrieves and flings it in. Off Riendeau. There is Broughton for Smale, and a little poke by Riendeau looked like it got a piece of it. Broughton working with Brind'Amour. Bellows down there, but Rod Brind'Amour scoots it along the wing boards, and Dirk will punch it free. This should be icing on the Blues as Giles touches the puck, and with 16:43 to go in the second period, now the Blues can be heard as the North Stars hold on to a 2-0 lead. St. Louis Arena, where the North Stars lead the Blues 2-0 with 16:43 to go in the second. The Stars are 4-2-1 in their last 7 games. The Blues have struggled a little bit lately after that sensational start. Johnson shoots and went off the skate of Riendeau. Paul Cavallini brings the Blues out to neutral. Hull for Cavallini, but off a skate of Smith. Dirk poked it. Bobby Smith retrieves it. Smith fires to the right side. Bassett. They turn back to neutral ice. Bassett floats to the North Star line. Turned back there by Jim Johnson. Of that trade, Johnson said, well, you know, things are going to happen when things are going this way. Although he did not expect the trade. He said, you know, you got to be traded. It's a thrill to come back home. Duchesne breaking through a crowd. Duchesne hooked to the deck. A penalty coming on the Blues. Smith centers. Here comes Johnson shooting, and a save by Riendeau. And it'll be a North Star power play when we come back. 15:58 to go in the second.
Duchesne breaking between two defensemen gets hooked by Robert Dirk. Still goes to the net, and the North Stars, after the hook, continued to play and had a great chance. Jimmy Johnson robbed by Riendo with a shot up high after the puck was centered out of the corner. Jimmy Johnson, number 8, goes right in the slot. You see Duchesne going down. Now Bobby Smith is going in the corner. That puck's going to get centered out right here to Jimmy Johnson, all alone up high. Watch this shot. And Riendo makes certain he gloves it, because Berzan's on the doorstep, and the North Stars on the power play leading 2-0, 15:58 to go in the second.
Dirk for hooking at 4:02. This is the third power play of the game for the Stars, who are 1 for 2, including a power play goal by Ilka Sinisalo to open the game at 3:16 of the first period. Prop out of the corner for Minnesota. Blues try to clear. Pat McLeod keeps it in. Here's Gagne. Dave Gagne. Faked a shot. Now for McLeod. Here it is. Hits traffic. A drive by Bellows. No, a chop by Prop. Gagne fans on it. McLeod keeps it alive. Now Broughton for Gagne. Here's Broughton. 1:34 in the power play. Gagne looking, winding. Out for Broughton. McLeod is now on the left point. Broughton the right. Gagne deep for Prop. Broughton at the right point. Now Gagne. 1:19 in the North Star power play. They lead 2-0 in the second. Prop, Gagne. Bellows is right in front of the net, but Stevens is right on him as well. Gagne. Here's Broughton shooting. A crowd and to the corner. Stevens backhands kept in by Pat McLeod. Brian Bellows fires it. Hit. And Riendo just got a paw on it and got lucky, and then Stevens cheap shots Prop.
He certainly did. It was a good play in front of the net. Prop just gets the shot deflected off his body, goes right down. Riendo makes a great save, and after the whistle, Stevens comes over and knocks Prop away. But Bellows with the shot. Riendo very lucky here. Watch it hit Prop, and it just dies right down low on the goalie's leg. He makes the save and freezes it. But McLeod earlier taking a shot. Now watch, Bellows going to get a rebound shot here. Here's a shot up high, and Bellows pounces on the rebound right there, gets a shot away. Riendo makes a save. Bellows just being checked at the last second by Stevens. Couldn't get all of that puck, but he got enough of it to put a shot on goal. Would have been in had Riendo not made the save. Pat McLeod back on the defense, called up from Kalamazoo, looking sharp, moving that puck on a power play, and that's why they brought him up here today.
5th round draft choice of the Stars in the '89 draft at Met Center. Now Broughton with 57 seconds in the power play. McLeod rink wides it. Bellows there shooting through the crease, and that will sail out of the zone. That's the first time in 1:11 seconds it's been out of the Blues zone. Bellows broken up by Featherstone, who clears it to the North Star end. Pat McLeod, number 32. It's swept away by Haywood. Push puck. And Basson will keep it alive. Hard-working Bob Basson. Checked by McLeod. Now Broughton with 29 on the power play for Minnesota. We're going to have another penalty coming on the Blues. They fire the puck in. It's deflected to the corner. Hayward is on the bench. And we're going to have a roughing penalty on the Blues. With 14:19 to go in the second, it's 2-0 North Stars. We'll be right back.
Sutter's going to get a boarding penalty, actually checking from behind, which they don't call. Here he does. He checks McLeod from behind. Since there's not a penalty in the National League checking from behind, they call it boarding. But Don Kowarski very adamant about that. He said the fellow was already checked. He's turned behind, and the league is cracking down on those kind of checks this season. They don't want to see any injuries, so he immediately raised his hand. Sutter's upset about it, so are the Blues, but a good call by Kowarski. The North Stars will have a 2-man advantage for 21 seconds as Sutter joins Dirk in the penalty box.
14:19 to go in the second. North Stars 2 and the Blues nothing. The Stars using Gagne, Bellows, Prop. Now Modano on a point with Broughton on the 2-man advantage. Face-off coming to the left of the goal as Riendo, who started the last 4, looks at it. It's interesting with all the great all-star ballot votes that have been gone to Curtis Joseph. It's Riendo who's been their goalie. That balloting is sometimes pretty strange anyway. Now a little discussion to everybody here.
Well, Cavallini slashed Bellows on a false face-off. And Kowarski was warning Cavallini, saying, you keep it up, you'll get a penalty too.
On the draw, it goes Skinner out of the zone. Neil Broughton in hot pursuit with 15 seconds left in the two-man advantage for the North Stars. Here comes Bellows. Madonna, 9 seconds. The Blues get one man back. Madonna, 5 seconds left in the 5-on-3. Broughton shoots right on, and the save by Vince Riendo. 3 seconds left in a 5-on-3 power play.
And a good shot by Broughton. You want to get the shot away. You know that one penalty's winding down. So Broughton just wants to put it on the net. Maybe a deflection, maybe it'll go right in, maybe a rebound. But get the shot away before that penalty's up. And he did that. Riendo was very wise to hold on to that shot, get a face-off. On the previous face-off, Wilson was smart to go with Gagne. Gagne was going to pull it back to Broughton, and Wilson, rather than trying to drag it back, went with him. And when you go real hard at it that way, it was enough to knock the puck out of the zone. One thing Gagne should do is go to the right side, go to Prop, because he's not being covered on the boards.
3 seconds in the two-man. The puck to the corner. Prop there. Now the Blues get one man back. And it's cleared all the way back down. It's now a 5-on-4 power play for the North Stars. Power play number 4 running for a minute 30 seconds. 13:47 to go in the second. 2-0 Minnesota. Now Broughton's puck in is chopped out by Stevens, and the Stars will chase again. Madonna for Bellows and Brian Prop. Gagne and Broughton complete the power play, but Prop's puck hits the equipment of Ron Wilson. So Hayward plays it away. Madonna, 1:04 in the power play, which is 5-on-4 for the Stars now. Madonna at neutral ice, driving on Stevens. And the North Stars offside with a tick under a minute to go in their power play.
Now Brian Bellows going with Cavallini, because Cavallini hit him again, and now that the 5-on-3's over, Bellows figures he's going to go right at him, and even though they'll get coincidental penalties, it'll still be a 5-on-4.
Look at Bellows. He's had it from Paul Cavallini twice already, and they're both going to sit down. 13:18 to go in the second period. Getting contentious in St. Louis with the Stars lead 2-0.
You're only going to push Brian so far, especially when there's not a 5-on-3 advantage. Bellows gets nudged by Cavallini coming across the blue line, and that time he went right back at him, and he wasn't going to put up with it anymore. And you've got to do that. You've got to stand up for yourself and make certain they're not taking liberties with you. Brian is a very strong individual, and he can fend off a check, but he's not going to take needless slashes without retaliating.
Bellows and Paul Cavallini draw coincidental roughing minors at 6:42 of the second. Meanwhile, Stars still running the power play for 55 seconds.
But they're having difficulty getting across the blue line. That's been their problem on the power play. Once they're inside the zone, they move it around well, but they've got to gain control of that zone. Madonna or Glenn usually will shoot the puck in down deep when they're lined up 4 across, and they try to get control down deep.
And Mario Marois will fling it the length of the ice now for St. Louis. And now half a minute remains in the North Stars' 4th power play of the night. 2-0 Minnesota. Just over 7 minutes into the second period. Bobby Smith now for Sinisalo. Featherstone to clear. Tipped by Brindamore. Kept in by McLeod. And Featherstone will gun it away. Now 12 seconds left in the North Star man advantage. Here's Brian Glenn. Get back from Smith. Glenn now for Kurt Giles. 2 seconds one, and the North Star power play expires. Bellows chips it in, and the Blues are at full strength for the first time in a while. Stevens for Sutter, checked by Smale. Ron Wilson couldn't clear. Bellows with a blast that actually hit Perry Berezan. Stevens now for the Blues, Jeff Brown. Piled up on the left boards. It's pulled away by St. Louis. Ron Wilson to neutral ice, but Giles is there to punch it back. Brown at his own blue line. 8 minutes gone in the second. North Stars 2, Blues nothing. Berezan retrieves. Rotten couldn't turn on the puck as he was bothered by Stevens, and it comes back to the neutral zone. Now new North Star Jim Johnson bangs it in. Played by Riendo away from Broughton. Stevens away from Berezan, and Scott Stevens out to neutral ice. Fans chanting "Let's go Blues." A big crowd of probably 16,000, 17,000. Not very happy so far tonight. The North Stars leading 2-0. There's been no scoring here in the second period thus far. Long one off the boards, played by Hayward. Right in front of the net, and Hayward again with a one-handed poke check. The North Stars' Bobby Smith with that long reach retrieve. Smith angling through neutral ice. They're offside, coming into the St. Louis zone with 11:01 to go in the second period.
Well, the North Stars are doing just a marvelous job of checking. They're getting out of the zone whenever they haven't got control. They've got one forechecker going at the puck area. The wings are picking up the wings. That allows the defense to stand up. St. Louis, once they get control of the puck coming out of their zone, they look up ice. They see 4 men covered. They're trying to pass through people, and North Stars are picking it off. The forechecker is going at them aggressively, making them hurry the play. North Stars playing just textbook defensive hockey, and they lose the puck thus far. And if they continue to do that, they're going to have this crowd just going crazy because they're getting frustrated as the Blues are. And, you know, it's really interesting to see a crowd like this at North Stars. Norm Green was mentioning it yesterday at a luncheon. The fact that there's been some franchises that have had trouble in the past. St. Louis, one of them, almost moving to Saskatoon
yes.
when Ralston was going to sell it. They stuck with it, and the fans came back, and they certainly have come back here in large numbers. They've got almost 13,000 season tickets sold. They got 17,000 plus here tonight. They've been drawing just fantastically well this year.
We well remember when you could fire a shotgun through Joe Louis Arena and not hit anybody too. Hayward with a sprawling stop in front of the net, and Hall couldn't get the rebound. I was talking to Norm Green Saturday night after he got back from Florida. He was smiling after the expansion meetings. Puck played back out to neutral ice, but he was telling me that exact thing. He'd been talking particularly to people in St. Louis and Detroit, and they had been saying, you know, just be patient. It's happened to us, and it wasn't very long ago. Zettler fires, the save by Riendo. It floats to the point for Kurt Giles, shooting tipped by Duchesne, just off the post. And Brett Hull brings the Blues back out to neutral ice. Halfway through the second, the Blues trailing 2-0. Featherstone in deep, Gino Cavallini, and he's robbed by Hayward on another pad stacking save off to his right.
Well, he's had 4 superb saves tonight, and that one ranks right up there with all of them because Cavallini had a whole open net here momentarily, and Hayward, who has good balance and moves across the net very well, he just comes across, slides, and makes a save. Now watch this one on Hull earlier. See how he keeps his position? He's in perfect position to shut down the shooting angle of Hull, giving him nothing to shoot at, takes it away, makes the save. Ryan Hayward, who's on a roll and been a superb addition to these North Stars.
Has he ever? And now Bob Gainey has a genuine goalie rotation that he's been using lately, and that's something any coach would like to get. Any good goalie wants to play all the time, but the coach wants to have 2 good goalies who can play half the time and play well if he can.
Well, it's no accident Hayward plays that well. He was part of a goaltending tandem that won the Vezina Trophy, the lowest goals against in the league 2 years in a row with Patrick Roy, and he can play the game.
Hayward named the NHL Player of the Week, ending December 10th with a 2-0 record, a 1.00 goals against average. Shut out Philly on Saturday night, 7-0. Halfway through the second, it is 2-0 the North Stars lead. And Brian Hayward leaves it behind the net. And Wilkinson checked, but no problem. Gagne with Courtnall grinding on him. Hayward behind the net again. Cast of thousands wheeling in. Basson playing the puck to the right circle. Shoots. Hit the post and out. That's been happening to the Blues regularly. Now a penalty is going to come on the North Stars as the puck is played out of the zone. A delayed penalty on the way for Minnesota. And the Blues have it in their end. Skating 6-on-5 with the empty net on the delayed penalty. Basson rockets it. Hall cutting in. He scores on a delayed penalty. Brett Hull, you'll rarely see him score on a soft backhander, but he got one in that time, and the Blues are on the scoreboard as Hull scores on a delayed penalty. It's 2-1.
Well, Brett Hull gets that pass in full flight, and he's going around the outside of Glynn. A great pass, great wide pass from Basson here to Hull. Hull coming with speed, is going to beat Glynn on the outside, lean in, protect the puck with his body, cut across, and score the goal, even though Hayward got a piece of it. You see how Hull protects the puck with his body? Then watch Hayward, a great second effort with his glove, but he just got a piece of it, not enough. And a superb effort by Hull. Will probably get credit for the goal, even though Courtnall was going to the net too.
It is Brett Hull, his 30th of the year. Basson with a good setup. On a delayed penalty. single assist hole. Now Stevens will play it back out. It was scored on a delayed penalty, so that obviously negates that, and the teams remain at full strength. Now it is 2-1, Minnesota leading, and the Blues at neutral ice. First we've heard really from the crowd tonight. Brian Propp turns it back on Brindamore's drop pass. Brown locks him up. Stevens pokes it free. Now Brown. Momesso. Away from Stevens. Hull coming down, but Propp got it away, and a long-range blast by Dahlquist behind the net. This is Mike Modano from Minnesota. Shoveled it in front, nobody home, and it was cleared by Jeff Brown. Now the Blues come out. Hull over the line for Sergio Momesso. Poked by Sinicello behind the net. Hull jumps it for St. Louis. Stars converge on their net. Hull really pestered, a blast right up the gut from Mario Marois. And Hayward makes the save, and he got all of that shot from Marois. Almost 12 minutes gone in the second. Now it's the Stars 2 and the Blues 1.
Brett Hull has brought this crowd to life, first scoring, and now setting up Marois with a great shot from the point, but Brian Hayward beats him in front, making a save, getting it in the gut, losing his breath momentarily, but he makes a save, and the Blues trailing 2-1, getting some life from this crowd after the great individual effort by Brett Hull. North Stars out shooting the Blues thus far in the period 13-6, but the Blues seem to come to life when Brett Hull makes those moves. Here's a shot from Marois. You could see it coming from the point. You saw what Brian Hayward saw. Good vision of the play. He was able to just get that shot in his belly and hold on to it.
Always great shots, great video, and good sound here in St. Louis. One of our favorite television crews of all time to work with. And we love doing hockey out of this building, I'll tell you, with this bunch. 7:49 to go in the second. It is 2-1 the North Stars lead. The puck is loose at neutral, and Giles is there. Now out of his own zone for Neil Broughton. Featherstone sniffed that one out and broke it up, but there's Rob Zettler in the center circle. Broughton will rip it off the backhand deep into the Blues zone. Riendo nearly got creamed by his own man Featherstone. Now poked in by Zettler. Broughton chopped by Smale, deflected by Marois, and up into the crowd, and Doug Smale exchanging the time of the day with Glenn Featherstone, the Blues defenseman.
Nothing irritates big defensemen like small, quick guys. And Doug Smale is really irritating Featherstone. First he beats him to the puck, then he gets the puck, and the next time when Featherstone gets it, he doesn't get Featherstone completely, but he gets enough of him to knock him right into the goaltender. Featherstone was very upset about it. When you see Broughton and Smale on the ice and you're a defenseman, you've got to move the puck in a hurry, because they are so quick and got such control of their stick that if you don't make a play in a hurry, they just pick your pocket. Speed up front really presents problems for slow defensemen.
Now the Stars line: Gagne, Bellows, and DeLeon. Glynn and Wilkinson on defense. 7:26 to go in the second. It is 2-1 North Stars lead. Blues win the draw in their own zone. And Courtnall lugs it to center off the skates of DeLeon. Dirk went fishing and couldn't get it. DeLeon lost it. Now Wilkinson. Behind the net, Riendo will play it for St. Louis. Paul Cavallini. Now DeLeon out of the corner, centering, but it was picked off by Paul Cavallini on the way to Bellows. At neutral ice, the Blues, Rich Sutter is there. They'll be way offside if they play the puck, so the Stars will turn it back. Neil Wilkinson for Minnesota. Runs the puck out to neutral and flings it in. Courtnall to crank it free. Sutter picks it up at neutral. Checked by Dahlquist, and the puck sails in. Basson and Wilkinson rather go to the corners. Basson rips it free. Courtnall and Dahlquist after it on the right side, and zipped out of the zone by Duchesne. Stevens for Paul Cavallini. Brindamore at the North Star blue line. Brindamore cutting in with Hull in the slot, right in front, and Berezan will pick it off the doorstep. Dahlquist and Brindamore still locked up for the moment. Now Bobby Smith will take it to center for Minnesota. High spinner to the Blues zone. Duchesne and Brown get there simultaneously. Brindamore pulls it free for Brett Hull. Tried to give it back to Brindamore, and it sat there. And an offside is going to be called on the Blues as they stacked it into the zone, and Hull having a few words with linesman Dan Shakty about that call.
good asset that Johnson and Dahlquist have is their skating ability. Here's the Blues opportunity earlier when Brind'Amour is going to the net, but he just gets taken out by the defenseman. Berezan was there to pick up the puck, but Johnson and Dahlquist have some speed laterally. That allows them to get to the wings coming down the boards quick and take them out with some authority. One thing the North Star defense has got to do from now on the rest of this game is take people out with authority, because the Blues up front are getting back into the game. They're using their body. That gets the crowd going, and it gets the North Stars back on their heels. So the only way to counteract that is for the Stars to become more physical, and the leaders of that group have got to be the defensemen, because they're getting the opportunities to take men out as the Blues come down the wing with the puck and keep control of it rather than shooting it in.
And wouldn't you like to have Basil McRae, Shane Churla, Mark Tenorti?
Stuart Gavin's almost ready to come back as well.
Who's certainly been missed. He's been skating, though. Featherstone. In fact, I believe he made the trip, but he's not quite ready to play yet. Puck loose now at neutral ice. And Bobby Smith will drag it out of a crowd. And that will hit the top of the glass. Marois. 2-1 North Stars. 5.5 to go in the second. With Lou Nanne, Doug McLeod at St. Louis Arena. Lowry for the Blues. Laid it for Tuttle. Just back up from Peoria. And Madonna swept it away. Doug Smale for the Stars. Featherstone broke it up. Madonna reaches in. Now Smale shoots it. Hits Paul Cavallini. And just trickles on to Vince Riendo. Now 5:12 to go in the middle period. It's 2-1 Minnesota. That Star Stakes Grand Prize Saturday afternoon when the Chicago Blackhawks are in town.
$53,700.
Holy smokes, what a bundle. You know, you could take away a lot of very welcome holiday cash as part of the big $250,000 North Stars Star Stakes giveaway. You could win $100, $500, $2,000. Every home game is a minimum grand prize of $5,000, but for Saturday afternoon with the division leading Blackhawks, $53,700. Very brisk ticket sales already for that one. We'd love to see you at the Met for that one. A home-and-home series of Saturday and Sunday afternoon games.
As a matter of fact, Doug, at this moment, the Blackhawks are leading all the NHL.
Very, very
top
hot
team in the league, so it's a great opportunity to see the league-leading Blackhawks. And that undoubtedly is one of the best rivalries in professional hockey.
If they're fighting it out for nothing, it's going to be a great game, but now so much at stake. We'll have the second part of that series, by the way, for you on Sunday afternoon in Chicago on Midwest Sports Channel. So come to the Met on Saturday. Bring a new unwrapped toy for Toys for Tots. You could win that huge Star Stakes jackpot. That's the biggest of the season, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And then on Sunday, be sure and join us on Midwest Sports Channel, and we'll have the rematch at Chicago Stadium. Not exactly filled with shrinking violets either. 4:57 to go in the second. It's the North Stars 2 and the Blues 1. North Stars getting squared away here for the face-off in their zone, and Bobby Smith will face it off against Rod Brind'Amour. Smith is on a line with Perry Berezan and Gaetan Duchesne. Zettler and Giles are the defense. Everybody's set. Dan Shakty, the linesman, making sure. And Smith wins the draw in the defensive zone. Gaetan Duchesne hustles it out to neutral for the Stars and pumps it on to Riendo. Rebound picked away by the Blues, Jeff Brown. And Sergio Momesso will launch it through neutral. Zettler to chase for Minnesota, pulling it away from Brind'Amour. Hull down on the corner. Zettler and Hull working. Brind'Amour in, but there's Bobby Smith for Minnesota. And out to neutral ice it goes. Brett Hull at the checkered line. Nothing doing around Duchesne. Now pumped back by Jeff Brown. Giles plays it out. Berezan checked by Momesso. And Smith will rink wide it for Duchesne. Gaetan Duchesne nearly hit the scoreboard. It was so hot.
Wing, it's too far, and Hayward rockets it back the other way.
Smith tried to play it for DeLeon, but it's broken up by the Blues, and Bob Basson runs it down the left wing. In the Stars zone, DeLeon fencing with Sutter, pulled away by Brian Bellows. 2-on-2 with DeLeon. Bellows crossing the line. Bellows on Brown. Dropped it back. DeLeon shoots a save. DeLeon again. And Riendo wasn't sure where it was, but it wasn't in the net.
He's made 2 lucky saves this period. One off prop when a shot by Bellows was deflected and hit down on the skate. That one, DeLeon makes the first shot. The save comes from Riendo, but he doesn't know where the shot's coming from as Dahlin's going to spin around here. Here's one shot, save's made. Now watch, a spin around a shot, and Riendo doesn't know where the puck is because it went right off the blade of the defenseman's stick and still hit him. And the score remains 2-1 for the North Stars, 3:38 to go, as Brian Bellows had a good rush along the outside with a good change of speed. Caught Jeff Brown in a turn, and as Brown makes a turn, that's when you lay the pass back, because the defenseman doesn't know where the puck's going, and went right to Dahlin, who got 2 shots away after that.
Stars out shooting the Blues in this period 17-6. 28-15 the total for the game. No icing here, and play goes on. Jimmy Johnson plays it away. Basson locked up with Gagne, and we're going to have a penalty. They're still down there. Gagne atop Bob Basson.
Bob Basson, even though he's small, he's a physical player, and he gets you irritated, so people get the opportunity to hit him, they do it. You see along the boards.
Great shot right in your
There's
sofa.
Gagne taking Basson down and takes him in heavily. Basson's still down a little bit.
The penalty had already been called by that point. Bob Basson, the former Chicago Blackhawk, who really didn't have a role with Chicago, but has really caught on here in St. Louis. They like him a lot.
He might have hit his face into the glass. It's going to be interesting to see what the call is. If Gagne goes,
it's going to be on Gagne
for 2 or 5.
And the question is on how much.
Because St. Louis is trying to say that Gagne, he is going out of the game.
Must be a 5-minute then.
We have a 5-minute major. They might call him for high sticking, because he was cut, and I thought he hit his face into the glass. St. Louis protesting that he got a stick up.
There goes Dave Gagne down to the North Stars dressing room. Here's the penalty.
Number 15, Dave Gagne. A 5-minute major for high sticking and a game misconduct.
And a game.
Time of the penalties, 16:35.
Gagne at 16:35 gets a high sticking major and a game misconduct.
See, the North Stars were arguing that he took him into the boards, and it wasn't a stick that cut him, but him hitting his face into the glass. You see him going into the boards there, but St. Louis is saying his stick was already up before that and caught him in the face. And if he gets cut as you're being checked like that, even though it's accidental, it's going to be a 5-minute major and out of the game. I still think that's a 2-minute penalty. I don't see the stick cutting at all.
There, yeah. It's a 5-minute major for high sticking and a game misconduct to Dave Gagne with 3:25 remaining in the second period. The North Stars leading the Blues 2-1. A long power play coming for Brian Sutter's Blues.
That's a mystery call to me, and it's not a very good one for the North Stars at this stage of the game. When you got one of your best players and also a top penalty killer.
That's right.
Out for the rest of the game as you play shorthanded for 5 minutes.
Reminder in the second intermission, it'll be Channel 9 Primetime News. Rod Grams and Heather Harden. Now a 5-minute power play begins for the Blues with under 3.5 to go in the second period, and the North Stars leading the game 2-1. Gagne is gone. Jeff Brown, Paul Cavallini. Now one-time blast by Hull, and it rocketed off the stick and out as Hayward had the measure of that one.
That's what happens when you're a goal scorer. No matter where you're shooting the puck from, you hit the net. Mike Bossy used to do it. Phil Esposito used to do it. The puck's coming off the pass, the shot goes, it's right on net. Hayward has to make the save. As we were talking earlier, Brett Hull leads the league. Coming into this game, he had 147 shots on goal in 30 games, almost 5 a game. And that's the mark of a goal scorer. They always get the most shots on net as well.
From the draw, power play runs 4:43, period runs 3:07. Zettler with a check on Courtnall. Now pulled out of the corner by Ronning. And lost by Paul Cavallini as it was slid to him along the blue line by Jeff Brown. Paul Cavallini. Jump by Smale. Smale was off balance then and couldn't play the puck, but a good play anyway. 2:45 in the period. Here's Paul Cavallini for Courtnall. On the right for Ronning, broken up by Smale. Zettler beats Ronning to it down on the corner boards. Sweeps it up high, punched by Smale, and Brown could not keep it in. 2.5 in the period, 4:05 in the 5-minute power play for the Blues. Here's Courtnall. Dropped it back. Now the chance to Brown. Running in Hull too far. Ronning tips it away. Here's Courtnall. Stars contract the box now. Brown for Courtnall. Brown one time up the gut for a tip by Ronning and then misfired to the left. 2:04 in the period. And this one will sail out to neutral ice, and the Blues will have to reorganize again. Under 2 minutes to go in the period. Now exactly 3.5 to go in the 5-minute Blues power play.
And another thing that goal scorers do is they get a lot of ice time. Brett Hull is still out there in the power play. He might play the whole 5 minutes of it.
And there he is. Now Brown with a drive. Zettler looked like he got hurt a little bit on that one as the puck is fired back, and Zettler, in some pain, I think, goes to the North Star bench. 90 seconds in the period, 3:05 in the power play. Stevens now at neutral ice. Steve Tuttle toppled there by Dahlquist. Broughton on the deck, digging away. Shot free by Gino Cavallini. Tuttle goes in. There's a center. Tuttle couldn't get a shot away. Gino Cavallini with 1:12 in the period. Blues on a long power play. Steves for Gino Cavallini. Brindamore ran into the referee, Koharski, and couldn't play the puck. Gino Cavallini out of the corner. Brindamore locked up. Last minute of play of the period. Sinisalo killing the penalties now with Johnson, Dahlquist, and Broughton as the puck trickles back to the St. Louis zone. Fans restive here. 45 on the seconds left in the period now. Blues on the power play for about 2:20. Featherstone fanned at the line, and Gino Cavallini is there. 35 seconds in the period. Tuttle for Stevens. The Blues thought there should have been a penalty on Johnson for tripping. The puck squirts free. Duchesne racing after it. Stevens there in front of the Stars bench. Duchesne has the puck and dumps it into the Blues zone.
Great penalty killing by the North Stars thus far, not giving St. Louis any time to move that puck away. They're very aggressive, going at the man and making him make a move.
Oh, Cavallini off the blocker. Where's the puck? It's right to Stevens, and he can't play it. Oh, and now the good luck goes to the North Stars goalie Hayward as the second period expires. The third period will begin with the final minute 35 of the Blues power play. Let's take a look at the last 10 seconds of this period, and what a sizzler.
And Hayward had an excellent period. Here's a shot by Cavallini right at the end. You see the clock winding down, and Hayward right in front makes the save, and the puck goes in the air. But the alert defense, Rob Zettler down in front, clears the puck after he took Courtnall out of there.
Is this his blocker or his shoulder?
There's Hayward concentrating all focus on the puck. He makes a save with his shoulder, and there's Zettler turning and clearing the puck with some help from Smale, and the North Stars out shooting the Blues there 17-8 and killing a great deal of that 5-minute penalty that Dave Gagne got and put him out of the game.
Wow, you saw the puck on the instep of Zettler's skates, and then they cleared it away. We take a look at our FINA scoreboard at the end of 2 periods of play. It's the North Stars 2 and the St. Louis Blues 1. Stay tuned now for Channel 9 Primetime News with Ron Grams and Heather Harden next. Blackhawks will be in at Met Center on Saturday afternoon. Hope to see you there. Expecting a big crowd. Should be a great hockey game. 1:30 time.
North Stars without Dave Gagne for the rest of the game, and that's a big loss. He's a fellow that's good on the bench, good on the ice, good in the dressing room. He's not like the fellow. There was a coach one time, Doug says, I got this guy, he's just great in the locker room. He's great in the locker room. The only problem with him is when he gets out in the ice, he can't play, and so we can't get him to stay in the locker room. Occasionally you get a guy like that that might be just good in the locker room, but the North Stars have lost a very valuable player for the rest of the game. Gagne out with a high sticking call, and there's 1:30 to go on his penalty. So the North Stars, leading by 1, have got to make up for that big loss the rest of the way.
This is that 5-minute high-sticking penalty on Gagne, still kicking away. Now 1:19 to go in it. Scott Stevens for the Blues, right in front. A running gun by Brown. Save, rebound, hacked by Ronning, but no. And the big stop by Hayward enables the Stars to come back. 2-on-1 shorthanded break. Broughton with Smale, the center, blocked on the body drop of Jeff Brown. Paul Cavallini hauled down coming out of the zone. The fans bellowing for a penalty. Hull with a part-the-water slap shot that hit actually one of his own players as well, and then meandered toward Brian Hayward.
The goal scorers like Brett Hull also do one other thing very well. They get in the holes. They're always in the opening. The puck seems to come to them, but they at the same time find ways to get open. As he did there, Hull laid back off the rush, and he allowed himself to just be in the proper position where the defensemen were taken deep by the two other skaters of St. Louis, and he was able to get that slap shot away. He's already got 5 shots on net coming into this period, so the North Stars have got to look to him on this power play as the trigger man and play him tight. You almost want to lay off another guy completely just so you're favoring Hull that much.
Fans, this period of North Star hockey is brought to you in part by Coors Extra Gold. Slow brewed for that real beer flavor. Coors Extra Gold. No doubt about it, beer is back. 19:21 to go. It's 2-1 Stars lead. 53 seconds left in that 5-minute St. Louis power play. The Stars are killing it off with Broughton, Duchesne, Dahlquist as the puck comes to the line, and Johnson. And Scott Stevens has it at left point for St. Louis. Hull. Paul Cavallini at the line. 35 seconds left in the power play. Dahlquist away from Courtnall. Ronning is there out of the corner for St. Louis. 28 in the power play for the Blues. Fans restive for shots here. Hull takes a hard one, and Hayward slams the door again. And again, Brian Hayward comes up big on a typically hard Brett Hull shot.
Watch how quick Hull gets it away. Even though there's a screen right in front of him, this puck's going to come out right in front of him. Look how fast he just gets it and gets it away before Duchesne can block that shot. Duchesne has to play him even tighter. You don't like to do that, but in this case, you have to. This guy leads the league in scoring, leads the league in shots, leads the league in power play goals, leads the league in first goals of the game. He's leading the league in the All-Star balloting by a wide margin over Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
He's got to be paid particular attention to and really nullified. And the only way you do that is by being all over him like a blanket.
Speaking of penalty killers, I was chatting with Stu Gavin in the intermission. He's sitting in the press box, not quite ready to go yet. Very anxious to get back in the lineup, but also anxious to make sure that knee is ready to go. And he says, you know, it's not going to be 100% when it's ready to go, but he's got to learn to play with that big bulky brace, and he figures now he just needs game action. Now the Blues, Brindamore centering, Brown with a shot and a big save by Hayward. Oh, and the shot from the deep right circle, and again Hayward was right on the money, and that's the end of the 5-minute St. Louis power play. The North Stars have killed off the whole 5 and are at full strength, and it's still 2-1 Minnesota. The lead linesman waves off icing, and so the North Stars will play it. Jim Johnson in his own zone on a board pass for Prop. 2 minutes gone in the third period, 2-1 Minnesota. Here's Modano. Ilka Sinisalo, 3-on-2 quickly. Modano hooked down by Courtnall. He felt that tug and did a little slap down, but Koharski isn't buying. 3-on-2 for the Blues. Hull shoots, blocked by Dahlquist, and it's turned back at the gallop by Modano. Mike Modano hot rods it through neutral ice, crossing the line, backhand shot, partially deflected by Basson. Duchesne to the corner boards. Basson has Modano locked up, and he can't play it. And here's Paul Cavallini now for St. Louis. Past Lowry to the Stars zone, no icing here. Hayward touched it away for Zettler. He and Sutter go to the corner boards. Derazan slamming into Dave Lowry. There's a good shot of the busy feet that get going down in the corner. Zettler. Now Duchesne flipped it over Paul Cavallini, but they'll blow the play offside. With 17:10 to go, it's the Stars 2 and the St. Louis Blues 1. It's waiting in the wings, that big Norris Division shootout with the Chicago Blackhawks. That's the Stars' next home game, 1:35 face-off on Saturday afternoon. Now $53,700 in the Star Stakes grand prize. Don't forget to bring your new unwrapped toy for that one too, for the Toys for Tots program of the U.S. Marine Reserves. You could win yourself a prize there too. Now Momesso firing at point blank range. Hayward again with a stop, and the play whistled quickly down with 16:53 to go, and the North Stars leading 2-1.
Another good save by Hayward on Momesso, all alone right in front of the net. He gets a quick shot away as that puck was deflected off Wilkinson's stick and comes back in front. Here's a good shot by Momesso, but Hayward wisely staying on the pipe. One thing we should mention, Doug, as you said, that game is 1:30 in the afternoon. We've got to remind people it's 1:30 in the afternoon. And on Tuesday against the Russian Kimmich team, there's a shootout at the end of the second period. Part of this Russian series is a shootout where 5 people from the North Stars and 5 from the Russian team will each go on the opposite goaltender in a penalty shot fashion, and that's worth a point in this series. And it's been really exciting for the fans in LA. It had the crowd on its feet.
Berezan rifles a solid shot from 35, and there was a good save by the Blues goalie Vince Riendo.
Berezan coming off the wing gets good wood on it, and he gets a fine slap shot away on the net. It seemed like it was dropping, and that's why Riendo, already making a move forward, had to reach down to grab it. It almost handcuffed Riendo. A good shot, and when you catch a spinning puck, as Berezan did there off the boards, when it's bouncing just a little, it adds a little English to that puck. Sometimes it rises, sometimes it drops. That time it dropped, almost full Riendo, but he made the glove save and held on for the face-off. That's why they say it's never wrong to shoot the puck at the net. You never know when they're going to go in.
It's never a bad hockey play, especially if you get a good low one on. From the draw, Johnson, a blast right on, and it's turned off the end boards by Brown. Now Bellows and Brown pop each other. Brown lost a stick. The Blues are at neutral ice, and Dave Lowry flings it in. Came right back to Lowry after Dahlquist hit Wilson. A drive right on and a save off that shot by Stevens by Brian Hayward. Now Wilson taken to the glass by Broughton at neutral ice. 2-1 Minnesota. Stevens in the corner. Lowry to turn it away from Smale. And Johnson cranks it right back in for Minnesota. Jeff Brown for the Blues. Now St. Louis comes out to neutral ice. Here's Rod Brind'Amour. Swept behind the net by Hayward. Dahlquist away for Smale. If you happen to be at Met the other night and saw Dahlquist, you saw him wearing 4, but now he's wearing 34 for the North Stars, in case you're wondering why that is. Collision coming in the zone. Modano quickly pulling away from Courtnall, and no penalty. Now Zettler brings the North Stars back. Just onside, Modano fires, blocked by Paul Cavallini. Prop almost was able to keep it on at the blue line, but then had to play it back out. This is Scott Stevens, the Blues captain, at the line. Brind'Amour. Now it is Courtnall. Zettler and Courtnall locked up at it. Courtnall on the deck. A loose puck. Paul Cavallini shooting save. Hayward rebound score. It was Paul Basson flying through the deep slot after Hayward had made the initial stop. And with 15:11 to go, nothing decided now. It's the Stars 2 and the Blues 2.
Basson coming off the boards. He had just come on a line change. You see the shot coming from Cavallini, and the defenseman's got it high up Hull in the slot area. That leaves the puck free right here. Watch Basson go to the net after the shot. Hull's being tied up, and Basson going to the open net. Gets a shot away. It partially deflects off the stick of the defenseman, but not enough to go over the net, and goes into the net as the North Stars get tied on Basson's goal. 2-2.
That is Bob Basson's 5th goal of the year at 4:49 of the 3rd period. And it is a 2-2 game now. Now here is Neil Wilkinson, who's on defense now with Brian Glynn. Pulled back to the Blues zone. Paul Cavallini picked off in neutral by Glynn. In the circle, it's dragged out of a crowd by Doug Smale. Smale tried the shot. It was blocked by Basson. Trimmed away by Robert Dirk. And the Blues Sutter angles one out to neutral ice. Here is Gino Cavallini. Glynn had the measure of Cavallini. And the Blues are offside. 14:36 to go in the 3rd. It's the Stars 2 and the Blues 2.
Well, St. Louis Blues crowd coming to life as the Blues have tied the game at 2. The North Stars have got to go on the attack, not sit back. They had a 2-0 lead. St. Louis has been chipping away, and the North Stars now have got to turn on to the offense and get some opportunities on Riendo.
14:36 to go in the 3rd. It's 6-2 St. Louis in shots on goal in this period after the Stars outshot them 11-9 in the 1st and 17-8 in the 2nd. Stars got the first 2, but the Blues have scored the last 2. Memesso, tunnel check. And the puck pulled away by Mike Modano. Here's Brian Propp for Minnesota. Centering the circle for Johnson. Momesso after it for St. Louis. Now it's Featherstone, and the Blues come out. A long angle for Steve Tuttle. Just called up from Peoria, the International League. That shot glove down by Hayward. And with a tick under 6 minutes gone in the third, we'll have a face-off in the Stars zone with the game tied at 2 apiece. The Blues have cooled off a little bit recently after the fastest start in franchise history. They are 3-5-3 in their last 11, but you factor in home ice, and it's a big factor. They're still hot in this building. They've won 6 and tied 2 in their last 10 games at the St. Louis Arena.
They've had tremendous support here all year, and the crowds have been building all summer long. They've been selling season tickets. They went from 9,000 almost to 13 at this point, and they're averaging in the neighborhood of 17.5 per game. Very pleased with the kind of support they're getting here, and it's been a big lift to these St. Louis Blues hockey players to play in front of this large crowd, and they've had a very strong home record. As we look at the owner, Mike Shanahan, and his wife enjoying the game now that they're back into it, 2-2.
Draw in the Stars zone. Sutter, Marois fakes. Down goes Duchesne. Marois shoots. Save, rebound, score. It's Bob Basson again. Basson was open right on the side of the net, and again was able to collect it on the rebound. And now the Blues take their first lead of the game with 13:55 to go in the third. 3-2.
Bob, the goal actually initiates from the point where Marois fakes Duchesne down. You shouldn't leave your feet this far from the net, especially when you're at full strength. He's able to walk in after that. The puck dribbles to the front as it trickles free. Rich Sutter hits it over to the side to Basson, and Basson's able to put it into the side of Hayward. There's Sutter in front as well. He deflects it over to Basson. Basson all alone on the doorstep scores the goal.
Bob Basson gets his second goal of the game and 6th of the year. At 6:05, again on a rebound. 2 consecutive goals now for Basson. Marois and Sutter will pick up the assists. And it's 3-2 St. Louis. Childs rotten off the boards, but a wheeling blast by Lowry is right on. And Hayward is ready for that one as it comes sailing in.
The Blues with all kinds of pressure now. The North Stars have got to gain control of the puck and skate it with some confidence. As a bad pass goes over to the boards, Lowry just wheels and fires it. Hayward makes a save. But Broden's coming out, and the wings got to come with him. They got to come as a unit now, not just dump it out, not worry about freezing the puck, but gain confidence and controlling the puck and making a play and come out with it to relieve the pressure in your own zone. If you continually are under pressure all period long, eventually you're going to beat your goaltender. So the North Stars have got to get some pressure on Riendo at this time and change the momentum of this hockey game.
13:41 to go in the third. It's now 3-2 St. Louis. Blues attacking again in the North Star zone, but the puck eluded Brett Hull. Now Chris Dahlquist. Here's Brott crossing with DeLeon. Ulf DeLeon, nifty move around Brown. The center for Bellows, but it didn't click. Batted down by Bellows. He got leveled by Jeff Brown. It looked like an elbow almost. Wilson now slams it back for St. Louis. Fired behind the net by the Blues. Hull with a head deep, comes in front of, whack at it, save, rebound, right in front of the net by Lowry. And Hayward holds his ground. Lowry still ticking around after the whistle. Just about 7 minutes into the third period. It's St. Louis 3 and the Stars 2.
Brett Hull uses the net for protection, and Jeff Brown as a decoy right there comes around the other side, gets a shot away, but Hayward shuts down the short side and makes a save. Brett Hull creating his own opportunities, used number 21 on the point as a decoy, faked the pass to him, came back around that side, but Hayward shut him down.
Brett's bullseye, it said there. Now here is Brian Propp for the North Stars. Madonna couldn't get it. Sinisalo bumped off it by Brindamore. Momesso for the Blues. And right into the Minnesota zone. 3-2 St. Louis now. Paul Cavallini fires it. Hit Propp. Another crazy bounce. Madonna then flattened Tuttle in the slot, and the puck comes out. Here's Madonna over the line and through Dirk's legs. A shot by Propp hit traffic. Banned on by Sinisalo as he ran into Brindamore, or almost ran into him. Dirk behind the net, hanging on. Now a shot by Madonna right on, and a point-blank shot and saved by Riendo. Propp and Dirk were really grinding back there. A long ranger by Momesso. Dirk doing the grinding, Prop the grindee.
Prop made the big play to get that puck free and get it to Modano. And that had to be a great save by Riendo. Otherwise, the North Stars would have tied this game.
Tuttle along the top of the rail. Whoa, Brindamore was cranked by Zettler. Fans thought there should have been a penalty there. Brindamore with Modano working on it. The puck picked out of the slot by Zettler. Now Gaetan Duchesne coming to neutral ice. The Stars changing one at a time as the puck sails down. Marois for Momesso. Bobby Smith closes in. Smith and Momesso. A poke by Berezan dragged it free. Gaetan Duchesne backhand shot on. Save by Riendo. Featherstone will knock it away. 11:37 to go in the third. It is 3-2 St. Louis. Featherstone back at neutral ice now for the Blues. Chris Dahlquist off the end boards. Berezan turns the North Stars back. Bobby Smith out and around the Blues Sutter. Here's Duchesne at the line with Berezan. Duchesne centers it, hits Smith and bounded free. And Courtnall starts back out for the Blues. A poke by the back-checking Johnson broke that play up. Dahlquist behind the net. Now Johnson is there. The two recently ex-Pittsburgh Penguins as the puck slithers to neutral. Ripped back in again by Jeff Brown. Here's Dahlquist. Picked up by Doug Smale at neutral, and can he fly? Smale down the left wing, a diving poke by Brown, broke that one up, and he laces one to neutral. Here's Pat McLeod in pursuit, but the goalie Hayward will play it instead. Ryan Glynn now for Minnesota with 10:35 to go in the third. Outlet pass broken up by Courtnall. Turns away from McLeod. Courtnall turning. A blast deflected off McLeod's skates. Glynn will slide it out for the North Stars and again tap it. Now Courtnall punched by Glynn. Courtnall back in for the Blues. Paul Cavallini fires a save. Rebound. Pile of bodies with Hayward down. And Paul Cavallini to the slot again. Broken up by Pat McLeod. Now Smale comes out. He slides one for Neil Broughton. Stars at neutral halfway through the third. Now trailing by a goal. Bellows a blast. Blocked by Scott Stevens. Stevens launches one for Brett Hull on the far boards. It is Hull for St. Louis, but the Blues need a change. Cliff Ronning comes in. Hook drive blocked by Zettler, and it dropped over Hayward to the back of the net. What are the odds of that one? And the Blues take a 2-goal lead as Zettler actually deflected it, and then you saw it drop behind Brian Hayward. It's 4-2 St. Louis.
Well, Zettler comes across to block the shot. Ronning takes it. It hits the equipment of Zettler, and as Hayward's coming out to cut the angle, he can't get back in time as that puck goes over his head into the net. You see Hayward coming out. He's got to do that to cut the angle, but now Zettler goes down to block it, and he deflects it up and over Hayward, who loses sight of it for a moment. Then he tries to reach up and grab it. It's overhead into the net.
Cliff Ronning nails his 6th of the year for St. Louis, and the Blues now have a 2-goal lead. And now they've come from a 2-0 deficit to score 4 straight. 4-2 St. Louis. And Ronning again will pick it up at neutral and zing it into the North Stars end. Zettler off the end glass. Down and away from Prop, and Marois kept it alive. Zettler taps it free, but there's Dave Lowry for the Blues. Checked by Giles. Ronning shoots, whistled off the side of the net. Modano rifles one free. Runs out of gas in the Blues zone. It would have been icing had it gone far enough. Featherstone starts out for St. Louis. Hayward sweeps it away, and now Berezan for the North Stars. Stepped handily out of the attempted flying check by Brindamore. Dahlquist sings one in. Featherstone away from Berezan. Dahlquist turns and sends Tuttle off his pins as the puck comes to neutral. Here is the North Stars' Jim Johnson. 8.5 to go in the third. 4-2 St. Louis. Now back comes Johnson. Down the deep right circle, right in front of the net. But Brindamore had Berezan locked up. Berezan now off the wing, right to Steve Tuttle. Momesso plays it out for the Blues. Glynn closing in like an angry cloud on Momesso as they go to the end boards. Sutter smacked partly by Smith, who wheels the puck away. It skitters back down behind the net, and there's Johnson. Bellows at neutral, trying to pull away from Stevens. Now Smale open on the wing. Bellows shoots, save. Rebound to Smale in the right circle. He's corkscrewed off the puck by the Blues. Bob Bassam. Now Bellows fishing for it, but the Blues rocking it away. This will be icing on St. Louis as soon as Pat McLeod brings it into the fold. 7:36 to go in the third period. 4 straight goals for the Blues, who now lead 4-2. I don't.
Two St. Louis Cardinals there in the crowd, getting quite excited. Tom Pagnozzi there on the left, and they are really excited here as the Blues have made a big comeback, leading 4-2. But the North Stars in the last couple minutes have started to get their offense going, especially Brian Bellows' opportunity coming in off the wing, getting a good shot away, only Riendo making a save. The North Stars can complete some of those long wide passes because St. Louis forwards are all going deep now, all trying to get more goals, and the Stars have got the opportunity to break somebody free up high so they can connect on those passes.
I must tell you that they are officially giving the tying goal for St. Louis not to Bob Basson, who fired it in, but to Brett Hull. From the shots we saw, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, he doesn't need any help to get any goals.
No. Now the puck is loose in the North Star slot, but officially it goes to Hull at 4:49 of the third, so Basson will get his 5th at 6:05, and then Ronning at 12:24. That's how it is officially in the book here in St. Louis. As we know, the TV guys are virtually never wrong. But I just want you to know what's in the box score. Now I settled that. 6:54 to go in the third. It is 4-2 St. Louis with Lou Nanne, Doug McLeod at St. Louis Arena. Marois for the Blues. Madonna pulls it away from Marois. It's 3-on-1. Madonna center. Sinisalo shoots, and a save by Riendo. Oh, and Vince Riendo comes up with a big one on a nicely executed North Star play. Here's Hull. Floating it wide for Featherstone. Madonna riding Featherstone. The puck is in the webbing behind the North Star net. They'll stop the play there with 6:25 to go in the third. And the Blues leading 4-2, and Vince Riendo with a big stop.
Riendo reading the play properly after a great pass from Madonna. Sinisalo just deflects it towards the net. Watch this. Madonna going outside with some good speed, going around, and now watch that pass right across onto the stick of Sinisalo, who got it up, and it looked like it was up high enough, only Riendo makes a save. A fabulous play by Madonna to Sinisalo, who gets robbed by Riendo, and Riendo keeps the Blues ahead by 2 with 6:25 to go, 4-2 St. Louis.
Now referee Don Koharski is over discussing something with the off-ice officials, and they're having a fairly animated discussion. I'm not sure about what.
Timeout, Minnesota.
Minnesota calling timeout, but they couldn't have been arguing about that.
You know, they changed that goal and gave it to Hull rather than Basson. What I think they wanted to do, because I saw Courtnall standing on the bench previously when the goal was scored by Hull going into the goal. Courtnall was trying to claim the goal, and I think they eventually will change that one, give that one to Courtnall, Hull an assist, and this one will still remain Basson's from Hull.
We'll get back to you eventually. 6:25 to go in the third. 4-2 the Blues. Action in the North Star zone with 6:16 to go in the third. It's St. Louis 4, the Stars 2. And the puck played at neutral by Ilka Sinisalo, who got the first goal of the game on a power play at 3:16 of the first period. Sinisalo out of the corner. Brind'Amour tipped out of the air by Sinisalo, up for grabs, and Brind'Amour grabs it. Rod Brind'Amour driving on Pat McLeod. Shooting, a tip save by Hayward. Puck to the corner. Momesso there. It'll be Madonna, Glynn, or Momesso, or Pat McLeod. And that one skitters back into the St. Louis end. Should be icing on the North Stars, and it is with 5:36 to go in the third period, and a 4-2 St. Louis lead as you look at Jeff Brown, the Blues defenseman.
Well, Coach Bob Gainey now using Pat McLeod more. When you're trailing, you want to have offensive defensemen out there. McLeod with a good puck handling ability and good shooting ability, now seeing action at full strength. Earlier in the game, the first 2 periods, he only played on the power play. That's why he was brought up here. But now, because they're behind, the team has to generate some offense, and that comes from your point area. And McLeod's a good offensive defenseman, so he's seen a regular shift now for the North Stars.
5:36 to go in the third. The face to the right of Hayward. Bobby Smith for the draw for Minnesota. Locks it up. Still nobody on it. Now here's Bassett. Courtnall had it, but Zettler will fire it ahead. Paul Cavallini swept it in from the line. Sutter locked up with Duchesne. Paul Cavallini threw a heavy screen high. Bassett on the left wing away from DeLeon. Courtnall. Now Sutter and Zettler smack to the end boards. Kicked by Sutter, and here's Jeff Courtnall. It wanders free, and the Blues Sutter will try to play it. Now Courtnall. And Sutter. Bobby Smith is on Sutter, but here comes Bob Bassett. Bassett on the left wing. Now Courtnall in the corner. Blues working the left side. Now behind the net. It popped away from Sutter. Bobby Smith there. Courtnall all over the place on that one too. Giles, Bassett, Smith, and Sutter all down in the right corner in the Minnesota zone with 4.5 to go in the third period.
And St. Louis just killing a minute off the clock. They're very content to do what they're doing because they're eating up valuable time.
Courtnall now for Sutter, taken down by Giles. Bobby Smith for Minnesota. And the Stars, Rob Zettler will bring it back out to neutral. Robert Dirk. Pat McLeod sailing right in, but it goes on the stick of Basson, who floats it out for Hull. Cross ice pass for the streaking Dave Lowry didn't make it, and DeLeon turns it back for Minnesota. Smale wheeling down to the corner. Featherstone screens him off it. Here's Brian Glynn very deep for Minnesota, right in the slot area. A bounding puck didn't go, and now Smale and Featherstone take pops at each other, and we'll have a penalty coming with 3:46 to go in the third period on Featherstone. 4-2 the Blues, and a Stars power play when we come back.
Doug Smale continues to frustrate Featherstone, as you see him here in the corner. Featherstone finally takes his stick and rakes it over his head, getting called for high sticking, giving the North Stars an opportunity to close that gap. A very important power play for the Stars as they trail 4-2, 3:46 to go, and they've got to get some shots on the net quickly. It's not going to pay for them to move the puck around and kill the clock while they're attempting to score. They've got to try early and quick.
Modano fires as power play 5 begins for the North Stars. Featherstone for high sticking at 6:14 of the third period. Here's Broughton now in the right corner. McLeod and Modano are working the points. Pat McLeod for Neil Broughton. Winding, shooting, screen, save, Riendo, a chop by Prop, but no. They spin it high and out. And they'll face it off outside the St. Louis zone.
Riendo made a good save there, and 2 North Stars right on the doorstep looking for that rebound. The shot comes from Broughton right here, and down in front of the net you got Bellows and Prop both firing away at it, and the puck was finally deflected off Modano's stick over the glass. But that's what the Stars have to do, get the shots on the net. Prop with an opportunity, Bellows missing the rebound, and the Stars getting some opportunities quickly, just can't get it by Riendo. Faceoff comes outside because the puck deflected off Modano's stick as it was being cleared down by Ronnie Wilson.
3:23 to go in the third, 1:37 remaining in the North Stars' 5th power play of the evening. And it is 4-2, St. Louis, 16,472 in the building here tonight at St. Louis Arena. On the draw, McLeod now for Bellows. The hit Broughton's skate, but McLeod fires. It was partially blocked by Basson. Clearing pass by Stevens didn't go. Here is Prop now to the corner. Mario Marois back there, and Basson wheels in. Bellows down behind the play. Bob Basson shorthanded at neutral for St. Louis. 3 minutes to go in the third. 1:14 remaining in the North Star man advantage. McLeod, Broughton, Modano. Bellows and Prop, the North Star power play quintet now. As Broughton got locked up with Marois, he didn't like that. It was intentionally pushed him offside. Broughton complaining about that, and then Marois came up and took a little pop, and now here comes Brian Bellows and Dave Lowry yapping, and Marois there as well.
That was a clear case of interference as Marois just literally grabbed Broughton. That's why Broughton's arguing right now with the referee and threw him across the blue line, causing the offside.
Well,
Broughton's not letting up on him either.
Let's take a look here.
Modano was coming down, and Marois literally grabbed Broughton and pulled him right across the blue line and punches at him.
Got 2 little pops in on it. Mario Marois. Now 1:06 to go in the Stars power play. 2:52 to go in the third period. 4-2 St. Louis. I understand that world famous award-winning producer and director of the St. Louis Cardinals and the Blues, Tom McLaughlin, is part of our gang out in the truck tonight, a former North Star television bigwig. I don't know what kind of a wig he has in St. Louis. There's McLeod at neutral ice to ring it in. Of course, we got Tom Mee now, so we're happy. Of course, crazy people are always happy. McLeod now at neutral now for the Stars with 49 seconds remaining in the Minnesota man advantage. Time running down in the third period. The outlet pass hit Pat McLeod. Now here's Prop on the end boards, decked by Paul Cavallini. And Cavallini will carry the puck as long as he can. Wilson was down in the Stars zone, and so they finally had to dump it in or they would have been offside. 27 in the power play for Minnesota. Stars need a goal. DeLeon rattles it around the boards. Smith, Bellows, DeLeon, Modano. And now Johnson on the power play as McLeod goes off. 14 in the power play for Minnesota. Jim Johnson smashes it down to the corner boards. Away DeLeon. Now Stevens tried to clear, but there's Ulf DeLeon. Bobby Smith out of the corner. 3 seconds in the power play. Smith wheeling. Bellows one-times it. Was partially deflected by Bassett. Might have escaped. Power play is over. St. Louis at full strength. DeLeon belted down on his knees now. Stevens and DeLeon fencing behind the net. 4-2 St. Louis. Brown stapling DeLeon against the glass. That'll stop the clock with exactly 90 seconds to go in the third period.
Well, the Stars never got quite good enough control after the first 30 seconds of that power play. Getting caught off balance in the neutral zone, not allowed to come in with that puck, control of the puck. Tried throwing it in, but they didn't have the wings going. So St. Louis was able to control it, get it out a couple of times, and the last time, kill enough time along the boards until that power play was over, and then they just get a whistle. With 1:30 to go, you can bet that St. Louis is going to take any opportunity they can to just dump the puck out to center ice, relieve the pressure, and if they've got nothing to do with it, they won't throw it away. They'll continue to control along the boards to kill the clock.
Remember the Stars right back home, and it should be a great shootout with the Chicago Blackhawks on Saturday afternoon, as the game will start at 1:35. Bring your new unwrapped toy for the Toys for Tots collection areas. Now the Stars at 18:30 of the third period will pull goalie Brian Hayward, and now we'll call timeout.
Well, it's a good thing St. Louis called timeout now for the North Stars, because the North Stars want to put a couple of guys back on the ice who were just on the ice. That being Bobby Smith, Mike Modano.
Yeah, thanks
and it
very
gives
much.
them a little extra rest. The North Stars have already used their timeout, so they're happy to have one called at this time so their forwards get a rest.
Talking to Stu Gavin in the intermission, just chatting, and he feels he might be ready for the game against the Kimmich team from the Soviet Union. Part of the NHL Super Series, the Russians coming to Met Center on December 18th. The Soviet Kimmich team in the 7th game of the NHL Super Series against the Soviet Union. As Louis was mentioning earlier, part of that game will be the 5-to-5 opportunities in the sort of the penalty shot format, and that should be a thriller. You were mentioning, and I saw some footage of it, people were going crazy in Los Angeles the other day. It's just thrilling. The goaltenders aren't necessarily completely thrilled about it, although it's also a great mono opportunity. So the 18th Kimmich will be at Met Center. Should be a great one in the NHL Super Series.
Oddly enough, after the first 3 games, Doug, the scores were 7 for the National Hockey League and 7 for the Russians. So it's tied after 3 games.
I think it's going to be really interesting to see how Soviet ice hockey is going to change, not in the way it's played, but in the way the talent may possibly be spread more within the Soviet, particularly in the elite division, where many of the good players have always gone to the Central Red Army team. But now things may change, and it'll be interesting to see how ice hockey, the face of ice hockey, will change in the Soviet Union. The players that don't come here, of course. 90 seconds to go in the third period. It's 4-2 St. Louis. The North Stars have pulled goalie Brian Hayward at 18:30 of the third. Now skating 6-on-5. Pat McLeod threw it into a crowd. It's knocked free. Bellows out of the corner, zings it high, a chance to McLeod, kicks it for Jim Johnson, shoots one, and it just got tipped away by Vince Riendo. And banked out of the zone, 1:09 to go in the third. McLeod, the board pass, tipped by Duchesne. Here comes Mike Modano to hot rod it through neutral. Last minute of play. Puck into the St. Louis zone. The Stars skating 6-on-5 with the empty net behind. Bellows in front for Duchesne. That's knocked away. And a bounding puck got away from Jim Johnson. Now a blast hit the goal post by Ron Wilson. And the Stars stay alive with 41 seconds to go. Here's Pat McLeod. Again, a 6-on-5 advantage for Minnesota. Hayward on the bench at 18:30. Johnson in the center circle. At the line, but it's going to be turned back out by Scott Stevens. Wilson's not going to rifle it this time. 23 seconds to go in the game. Bellows tipped over the line by Modano. Puck turned by Ron Wilson. Loose puck. Dahlquist center point. Shoots one off the right skate of Riendo. Modano jumps after it, but Tuttle skies it out of the zone with 10 seconds remaining. Neil Broughton to chase the puck. Tuttle fires it in. Broughton behind the empty net, but time expires. 1 second, and that's it on the last long-range shot. And the Blues come from behind. The Stars had led this one, scoring the first 2 goals of the game. But 4 goals, 1 in the second and 3 in the third by the Blues, and pulled this one out of the fire for St. Louis. We mentioned how strong the Blues are at home. Even though they've staggered a little bit lately in their all games, they've now won 7 and tied 2 of their last 11 home games. It is over at St. Louis Arena, and the final score, the St. Louis Blues 4 and the Minnesota North Stars 2. We'll be right back. Well, let us not forget that Brian Hayward made some sensational stops here tonight to hold the Blues at bay for much of the hockey game. Hayward will wind up with 28 saves on the Blues' 32 shots on goal. He played a solid game, but boy, Riendo came up big and lucky in the second and third periods as well. Ilka Sinisalo on a power play, and Neil Broughton from Smale. Both the North Star goals in the first period, but 1 in the second and 3 in the third, and the Blues put it away. St. Louis 4 and the North Stars 2. Our next North Stars telecast here on Receptive Channel 9 will be a week from tonight as the Stars begin a 3-game Eastern road trip. We'll bring you the first 2 games on Channel 9 starting December 20th at Pittsburgh, 6:30 Minnesota time. Then we'll be on that weekend in Boston as well from the Garden. So that should be a dandy set of games. Dave Maloney will be joining me on those. Coming up next on 9, we'll join the Odd Couple in Progress. After that, be sure to stay tuned to KMSP for the Arsenio Hall Show. And after Arsenio, get ready for some more laughs as couples tell all about their first dates on The Best of Love Connection. Tomorrow night on 9, don't miss the 7 o'clock movie Big Shots, the story of 2 boys from different backgrounds who learn a lot about love and friendship together. Well, the Stars will head home for a big set 2 against the Chicago Blackhawks on Sunday afternoon. Be there, bring a new unwrapped toy for Toys for Tots, and take a shot at the big Star Stakes jackpot. Saturday afternoon, 1:35 is face-off time against the Blackhawks. Hope to see you at Met Center. Thanks to our producer-director, Tom Mee, and my partner for tonight, Lou Nanny. Always a pleasure to work with him. Now this is Doug McLeod. The final score tonight, the St. Louis Blues 4 and the Minnesota North Stars 2. Thanks for joining us, and good night from the St. Louis Arena.